श्याम सुंदर हमारे यार लखन को जिया लल के
श्याम सुंदर हमारो यार लखन को जिया लल के
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 श्याम सुंदर. So, this is the state of being. That is why the humorous story that when God created the world, He gave all creatures a lifespan of 40 years. The birds, the bees, the humans. But the humans by nature are discontented. They formed a delegation and went to God and said, "Oh God, this is so unfair. At 40, life just becomes a little set and then it gets over. Can you not consider an extension for us?" God said, "I'll keep your application in pending. Let's see what happens." A little time went by and a donkey came to God. The donkey said, "Oh Lord, what kind of a creature have you made me? I carry the load from the house to the ghat and then from the ghat to the house. 40 years I just keep carrying loads. Please consider reducing my lifespan." God said, "This is a perfect fit." He removed 20 years from the donkey's life and added 20 donkey years to the human life. So human life expectancy now increased to 60 years. God said, "Is that good?" The human being said, "Good, but not so good. 60 is fine, God, but can you not go even further?" God said, "Then wait, let's see what happens." Now dog arrived. And the dog said, "Bhagavan, how have you programmed my brain? Every car that goes by in front of my lot, I go to bow, bow, bow from here to here and then bow, bow, bow from here to here. 40 years. You need to decrease my lifespan." God said, "Things are really working out for humans." He reduced 20 years from the dog's life, so dog's life expectancy was now only 20 years left, and he added 20 dog years to humans. So human life expectancy went to 80. Bhagavan said, "Ab to theek hai." Human being said, "Maharaj, 80 is also all right, but some desires are still remaining. Can it not go beyond?" God said, "In that case, you please stay put." Finally, an owl came. The Ullu said, "Oh, Sri Krishna, have you made me by mistake? When the whole world is awake, I am sleeping on the treetop. And when the whole world is sleeping, I am going from rooftop to rooftop. 40 years of this is too much." So God reduced his life also by 20 years and added the Ullu years to human beings also. So how is the human life? 40 years is okay. The body is also all right, mind is also all right, cholesterol, etc. is all under control. And at 40 now you hit the donkey years. You have to settle the children, get them admitted in college, get them married, clear off the mortgage. So all this load is being carried from 40 to 60. After that, the dog years begin. Now the primary role is to take care of the house. The son says, "Pitaji, I am going with Bahu to see the latest movie. You take care of the house." And if the old man says anything, others say, he's old, let him say whatever he wants to. So these are the dog years going on. And at 80, now the owl years begin. It's difficult to see. The person says, "Doctor Saab, can you please remove this cataract?" The doctor says, "Let it happen in the other eye also, we'll remove it together." So the mind is in the world. And Sri Krishna is demanding, "You give me the mind." Now try and understand, why is our mind in the world? Why? Beyond the mind is the intellect, the buddhi, which he is talking about. Mai eva mana adhatsva, mai buddhim niveshaya. The buddhi or the intellect is the analytical faculty. That buddhi makes the decision and the mind harbors the desires. The intellect decides happiness is in Rasgulla. And the mind desires Rasgulla, Rasgulla, Rasgulla. It is not an easy equation because there is a fight between the mind and the intellect. The intellect says, working on this high project report, this high value project report is good for me. That is the intellect saying. And the mind says, this is so boring. Surfing on social media is interesting for me. So now there is a battle between the mind and the intellect. This battle goes on in your life from the time you wake up till the time you sleep. Moment you wake up, the intellect says, "Itna maja aa raha tha. The bed was so enjoyable. Why did the alarm ring?" And the intellect says, "Arey Baba, I've got so many things to do. You need to give up this pleasure and get up." So all day long, when you go to office, do you enjoy the office? Workaholics are the exception, not the rule. Most people go just because they have to go. It's required for putting the bread on the table. The mind doesn't like it. Intellect says it is necessary. Now these two things that God has given us, mind and intellect, we are thinking, mind is not under my control. But the reality is much different. Each of us has the ability to control the mind with our intellect if ever we choose to. If ever we choose to. Consider a little child. His mummy papa says, "Swamiji, bete ko kuch samjhaye. Explain something to my child." What should I explain? He's your child. "Swamiji, he doesn't like to study." "Beta, why do you not like to study?" "Uncle, my mind doesn't want to study." It's a practical problem. The mind doesn't want to study. And mummy, papa says study and teacher says study and my mind says no. So the mind is revolting. But the same child, when he or she goes into the classroom for the final year-end exam, they bring the mind under control for 2 full hours. Sustain razor-sharp focus. See the question and utilize all their intellectual, analytical abilities to give the best possible answer. For 2 hours, the mind is absolutely under control. They're not distracted what is happening outside the window, what is my neighbor doing, etc. Where did this mind control come from? Every child is doing it. Because the intellect decided these 2 hours are extremely important for me. Now, Maniram, if you go around here and there, I will lose the whole year and have to repeat. Once the intellect made the decision, it controlled the mind. That is how God has designed it. He has endowed human beings with the ability to rein in the mind with the power of the intellect. That all the year long, why was the child distracted? Because the intellect's decision was otherwise. Mummy, papa says studies are important. I don't think it is important. Now when the intellect's decision was different, even if he takes the mind to studies, the intellect says, find out what's happening in the football game. Come here, come here. So this intellect is exceedingly important. It is the central government in your personality. In fact, it is on the basis of your intellect that the direction of your life gets decided. The intellect harbors in it beliefs. What is your belief? If your belief is sabse bada rupaiya, money is the big thing, your whole life will be spent in accumulating, earning money. If your intellect says the real wealth is divine love for God, then you will be visiting the temple to try and see how to accumulate love for God. In either case, the direction of your life veered in accordance with the decision of your intellect. So that intellect of ours is presently convinced that happiness in the world and the world is mine. That is why we will do our puja path, but we will ask from God worldly things. Now, every Hindu is familiar with the Satyanarayan puja, right? On all auspicious occasions, you invite Panditji for the puja. Let us say, in your house, you have arranged for the Satyanarayan puja. And Panditji is given a samagri list of all the materials to be requisitioned. So, the reason for the Satyanarayan puja is it is your son's marriage. Now, let us say that you are in India. You go to the market and say, shopkeeper, it is my son's marriage. I have to get a special safari suit made for him. Show me the best cloth in your shop. The shopkeeper says, I've got a wonderful customer. Look, sir, this one is 10,000 rupees a meter. This one is 20,000. Say, yeah, this is good. Give it to me, 7 meters. Then you remember, oh my God, Panditji had said, get 1 meter cloth for Bhagavan as well. Look, can you give me 1 meter more cloth? Sir, should I cut it from the same than? No, I want it for Bhagavan, for puja. Shopkeeper says, for Bhagavan, this is not good enough. You want some superior variety? Are pagal, what kind of dukandar are you? Don't you know what cloth we use for God? It is called tool, jhina jhina. The thinnest variety of red or white cloth for 25 rupees a meter. Dukandar says, wah sahab, for your son it is 20,000 rupees a meter and for Bhagavan it is 20 rupees a meter. Are Baba, Bhagavan doesn't wear any clothes. For all I know, he may be roaming around without clothes. Panditji has given a list, I have to fulfill it. What is the conclusion? Our bhav towards God doesn't even equal our bhav towards the Son. He who is the father of the soul is not equal in importance in our intellect to the son of the body. So the intellect has got its warped understanding. Sri Krishna is saying, Arjun, give the intellect to me. What does that mean? Give the intellect to me. It means use this knowledge in your intellect. Receive the knowledge. Believe in it. Understand it. Establish it in your intellect. Create a belief system on this knowledge. I am the soul, I am a part of God. My real treasure is love for Him. So let the knowledge from God be the basis of the wisdom of your intellect. Then you will have surrendered your intellect to Him. Why should I surrender my intellect to Him? What if God cheats me? Oh, that is the whole problem. We don't have faith. If we had faith, we would have surrendered. It is like that classic story of this man who went sightseeing. You know, he climbed over one hill and then there was a cliff. He went too far on the precipice. until his foot started slipping and gravity had to do its work. And soon he found that he was slipping right down. It's 100-foot fall, so he grabbed a bush like this. He was hanging by the cliff edge. And now he remembered God. He said, Sitaram, when I was little, I used to come to your temple with my mummy. Today, please save me. But his luck was good. A voice came from below. Sitaram said, we have seen it all and we have decided to save you. Release that shrub which you are hanging on to. We will catch you from below. He said, Sitaram, please catch me first. Then I'll leave it. Sitaram said, this will not happen. You first leave that shrub, then we'll catch you. Arey Sitaram, if I leave it and you don't catch me, what will happen? Likewise, God says, you surrender your intellect to me. I will empower it with divine wisdom. I will bestow my infinite grace. I will ignite the lamp of knowledge within you. We say, Bhagavan, please do all that first, then I'll surrender. So Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, if you wish to do bhakti, you establish in your intellect this divine wisdom and exercise the mind, absorb it in God. But then you may say, Swamiji, this is so difficult. Sri Krishna knows. And that is why he says, Arjuna, if you can't do this, then listen to the next verse. Atha chittam samadhatum.
Atha chittam samadhatum.
Na shaknoshi mai sthiram.
Na shaknoshi mai sthiram.
Abhyasa yogena tato mam.
Abhyasa yogena tato mam.
Ichhaptum dhananjaya.
Ichhaptum dhananjaya.
Translation. If you are unable to fix your mind steadily on me, Arjun, then practice remembering me with devotion, while constantly restraining the mind from worldly affairs. So absorbing the mind in God is siddhi or perfection. You will not start at the level of perfection. You will start way below perfection. That is how you start in every realm. The person you see as a master today was a novice yesterday. The person who is a teacher today was a student yesterday. The person who is a resounding success today was a failure multiple times on the way. Likewise, the state of complete absorption will be very difficult. So if you can't do that, Sri Krishna says, practice taking your mind to me. He has called it Abhyasa Yoga, the state of yoga or union through repeated practice. This practice is a very, very important sutra to keep in mind for everyone. All your progress will require constant practice. Now, of course, neurologists have discovered that when you think, your mind utilizes the brain. So the mind is subtle, the brain is gross. The brain has got its neurons, and when you create emotions in the mind, it is using the hardware of the brain. And millions of neurons are getting fired for physical actions, mental actions, physical plus mental. But the brain is so powerful that it understands these thought patterns are getting repeated, and it keeps configuring itself to manifest those practiced thought patterns more easily the next time over. So, if you have repeatedly brought to yourself thoughts of anxiety, then your neurons will get configured to make you an anxious kind of a person. One lady asked me, Swamiji, why do I worry so much? The question is bona fide, why do I worry so much? I said, lady, because you have practiced worrying so much. It's all the consequence of practice. Now, if you practice negative thoughts and then say, why do negative thoughts come to me? Ari Baba, if you want better thoughts, you practice better thoughts. So the practice configures the neurons, because neurons that fire together will wire together. All the skills that you learned was through practice. The legendary Bruce Lee, he said, I fear not the person who has practiced 10,000 different kinds of kicks. I fear that person who's practiced one kind of kick 10,000 times. K. Anders Ericsson is a psychologist who made it his life's mission to study peak performance. And he studied world-class performers in all different fields, whether it is violin or sports or anything. And he discovered that there were no born geniuses, never. He did not find one exception that there was a born genius. Even if somebody was naturally talented, they did not reach world-class level without 10,000 hours of practice that they put in by the age of 20. And that is what made them world-class, because their brain made it easy for them. But he says it is not mere practice. If practice alone would suffice, then there are so many lawn tennis players who have been playing for 60 years. So many golf players who began when they were 15 years old and now they are 75 years old. Over an period of 6 decades, how much did they improve? Practice makes perfect. Did they become perfect in 60 years? What is needed is deliberate practice. Deliberate practice means when you are repeating with the conscious effort to improve. So you are exerting your intellect and trying to improve. That deliberate practice you do a little bit and it gives astounding results. Everybody knows how to bicycle. As little children we all learned. The first day, was it easy? We were told that, okay, you sit on the bicycle and you just balance yourself, hold the handle and turn the pedals and look in front. And our intellect said 4 things together. Dhadam, we fell. But then, through practice, it became easier and easier and easier and easier. All of us have progressed through practice. Likewise, Sri Krishna says, Arjuna, don't be discouraged. My mind doesn't go to God. Keep trying. First day when you sit for meditation and in your 20-minute effort you could only keep the mind in God for 1 minute. Arey, that's a big victory. Because if you carry on after 1 week, it will be there for 2 minutes. And after 1 month, it will be there for 4 minutes. And the day you cross the 50% mark, out of 20 minutes, you are able to keep for 10 minutes. But now it's going to be downhill after that, not uphill. The mind will naturally go to God. So this is the Abhyas Yoga. This requires patience. Even the hen is patient for 21 days. to hatch its egg. We human beings can't be patient. All habits, they got created by practice. And the good news is all the habits can be recreated by practice. So it takes minimum of 14 to 21 days to create new neural pathways. And that is why with patience, keep on practicing, Arjun, Sri Krishna is telling.